friends, it's Kathy Clement with Kathy by Design. Welcome to segment 3 of our Make a Mini Album from Scratch series. We are working again with Stamperia Welcome Home. If you missed the first 2 segments, I will put links to them in the description box below, as well as links to my blog where you can find a supply list for everything we've used here. So in segment 1, we built the mini album base. We did the tabbed spine. I showed you how to build the signature. And then in segment number 2, I showed you how to cover the tags and do the inside liners. So now we're on segment 3, and we're going to actually decorate the signatures, which is exciting. I'll show you how to add all these interactive elements, but I know it's easier sometimes to create if you see it done first. So I'm going to do a walkthrough with the first signature, and then we'll build the second signature together. So this first signature, the front page, is interactive and has multi levels. The first level is this little pocket that we make by joining. I'll show you how we did that in a moment. And then I've layered up some of our cute little ephemera bits. And then I found in my stash, I've had these for forever, these little keepsake envelopes, and I put some of these in here with little tags and things in them. They're basically acetate envelopes. They're self-adhering. They have a resealable tab, and I just tucked little tags in there. So very cute. And then our tag goes in this front pocket. This flips out, and then joined here is a little trifold folio using our 4x6 images, and there's room here and here for photos. Then we come to another flap page, another one of these little envelopes with a little tag in it. This flips open. Here's a little decorated page and a flip up flap page that you'll learn how to build. Then this flips open, and there's another decorated page and a pocket with a little folio insert. So super simple, really sweet. That's all the front page. This flips, and then we have a double tip in page with these large clocks as the turners. And I'll show you how to turn those turn tabs into little pockets where you can add some of the sentiments from your paper. You can see I've layered up here just some little fussy cuts and ephemera bits to dress up the pages, but these are very, very simple pages. You can probably just look at the picture and figure out what I've done here. Then we have our pull-out page, and instead of doing a folio, I did a little tabbed photo mat where we build a scene. This is just one fussy cut piece layered over scraps of paper, and on the back side I've just got this little house, so you can add a little poem or a little hidden journaling, and this lives in our little side pocket right here. This flips open, and we have another flap page with another clock. I added a fussy cut bird to the center of the clock because I thought that was cute, and then I backed that clock with another clock. And all I did here was add a little sentiment and some little flowers. Very simple. Then that brings us to this last page, and this is another flip flap page. And the way I did this was I scored a flap behind this image and then adhered it behind my base page, which I'll show you. The base page is a pop out. So this is from the 8x8 album, scored at 5.5. And then you'll learn how to do the pop-ups in the tutorial. So here's our little flippity flip here. This is so cute. I've got a little door, and I'll show you how to do that. And then there's another flap with another little image, and then this pops open with a pop-up. Super, super cute. So we're actually going to build the second, the center part and the second signature. These are our little flip-flap pages. And what I've done is I've covered them with designer paper, scraps of designer paper, and I put a belly band here and a pocket here, and you'll see, we'll do this together in the tutorial. So our tag can slip down like this and rest in the pocket. So it can be like that. You just have to be careful when you pull it out because of the open book thing. Or when that's out, your flip flap feature works. I decided not to do this as a pocket. It just didn't work. So I just went ahead and put my paper over it. And then I also took this little bookmark, and this can actually fit down in there as well. So that's a fun thing. All right. The back side is just, I had to keep this flat because the album is full. So here's our second signature. This is what we're going to build today. We've got, of course, this is the same little layout. Everything is the same. So just changing the details, and we'll build this together. Super cute. See, all the same flow. And then this opens out. Here's a little scene. Here's a little pocket with a little folio. And I put this folio in here like this because it's a little wide for the pocket, but I wanted to get that. I wanted to get this image on there. So you'll see, we'll do all of that, and it will work really well. All right. So then this opens out. Here's our double tip in. All right, with the little tag pockets on the sides. Here's our little insert. I just left this blank for a photo or a poem or something like that. So that goes in there. Instead of the little flap page, we're going to make this little pull-out page, and build a little scene over here. And then here's our final page with our large image. Same thing with the lock and key. This flips out. Here's our little door that flaps open. Here's another little flap that flips open, and here's our pop-up element. So that's what we're going to actually make step by step today, and I think you're going to enjoy it. All right, friends, let's get to work on this second signature. So you're going to need an 8.5 by 5.5 inch piece. This time we're going to do the purple, and you're going to score this at 5.5, and then put 1/4 inch score tape on this little flap area, top, left side, and bottom. Then bring in a piece of the green that is 8.5 by 5 3/8. And you're going to score this at 1/2. Then you're going to fold it, and you're going to score it 5 3/8, and that gives you this little flap over here. Put adhesive on your 1/4 inch flap right here. Bring in your purple sheet, and I've got my flap on the bottom. I'm going to remove my score tape here. I'm going to line this up so that I am just above the scored line at the flap, and I'm even at the top and bottom. And then I'm going to press this in place. This flap folds in this way. This flap folds over this way. Okay? So now you have this. Okay? With your score tape, cut out the top row from your 4x6 images. And if you bring in your scoring tool, you can line up, and I've trimmed this to 5 3/8 inches high. You can score between the images. So see, this is almost right at 5.5 inches high. So just find the approximate middle. You can get pretty darn close just eyeballing it and score. Then you're just going to fold this over. Make sure everything is straight. And you're going to have these little flaps, these little extra bits on the end, and I just use my scissor to trim those off. So why did I do it like this instead of cutting it first? Because this way it's even. It's really weird with folded things. A lot of times you think you've measured it out properly, but then you fold it and you go, wait a minute, this isn't even. So that is how I do this. All right, go ahead and crease this. On your back, you've got this blank piece. And we're just going to line this up and press it in place. Now when we flip this, we have a pocket right here. And this is where we'll put our second tag in this pocket. See? So now this goes like this goes like this opens like this. It's a beautiful thing. Let me cut some papers and we'll start lining. So let's go ahead and build our little opening page here. And I've got one of my wooden clocks. And I like to adhere these with my dries clear. I feel like it holds really well. So we're going to center this up at the top. Then we're going to come down to the bottom and we're going to put a wooden teapot. And the second signature, the first signature was all about those cute little houses. This is going to be more about tea. And then I've got a little teacup and I put a double layer of foam adhesive on the outside edge. And I'm just putting my dries clear on the inside edge. And we're going to overlap this with our teapot like that. Let's go ahead. This is a 2 7/8 by 5 3/8 inch piece of that green barnwood. And I think I put in the supply list the extra sheets that I bought in addition to the 12 by 12 and 8 by 8 because some of these I knew I was going to want more of. I was going to want to be able to cut the front and the back. So the clocks were one of those. All right, it'll be easier to work if that's not shimmying around. Then I've got this little happiness right here. Then our little bird, so cute. Right here. And then I found this adorable little hat. I'm not sure where this came from, but it's like a little, and I want to do this right above my happiness. So there's that page. Now turn your page and we've got this little flap page. The width for this is going to be 2.5 and the height is going to be 5 1/4. And I'm going to start off by building a little pocket with this scrap that I cut to 2.5 inches. And I've got some little gussets that I just folded in half. And I think I actually want to go with this pretty purple side this time. So I'm going to put my gussets down, move this so you can see what I'm doing. So once again, I'm just gluing the folded edge against the open edge of the paper. And I'm lining up with the top, but not going over. You don't want to go over. Okay. And then I've got one to go along the bottom. All right, just like that. And then we just come in with our adhesive on the flaps. And this is going to go down on the bottom as a pocket. Just like that. Then I cut two 2.5-inch strips of a scrap. This had like barn wood on it. So I'm going to glue these on the top. One under the other. I bet if I go this way, the lines will match up. Well, no, the lines don't match up. That's because this was a long, skinny piece and I turned it into a short piece. And then I've got this little image, and we're just going to trim this down to fit in the pocket. Let's see if we trimmed enough off there to fit. Should be good. Let's take this cute teacup and house image and put it down. Actually go a little bit over the flap, but you don't want to put adhesive up here because if you do, you glue your pocket shut, and that's always a sad thing. All right, so that's that little flap. All right, my friends, now we're going to turn this little flap page and come over here. And I've cut a bunch of little 2.5-inch scraps. And we're going to just line this page with our scraps so we can use them up. So I just went through my scrap pile, and anywhere I had a little scrap, I just trimmed it to a width of 2.5. And now we're just gonna layer these up. I didn't tear the edges this time. I didn't think it was really necessary. I'm going to show you, this is a piece that you're like, what do you do with this? Well, where there's a will, there's a way, my friends. Of course, your scraps are going to be slightly different from my scraps. But it's really hard to get this wrong. It's such a great way to use up all those little bits and bobs of your designer paper that otherwise you just throw in the trash can. And since we're going to layer over this, it's really okay that we have some of these uneven edges and things. I'm not worried about it. I just try to make sure that my outside edges are straight and the same length. That's kind of the key to this. Let's start with this purple teacup on the bottom. And I'm putting it in an angle. Then I'm going to come in with my pink teacup. And I'm going to go the opposite direction, and I'm going to tuck it under so that it's about like this. Then I'm going to take this small teacup and put it inside this one like that. And then I'm going to take one of my little sentiments that says, enjoy the simple things in life, and tuck it right here, or maybe like this. Okay. I'm going to take one of my little butterflies and put it at the top. So there you go. That's fun. In our center panel, I have a 5 1/4 by 5 3/8 inch piece of this pretty purple print. This is from the 8 by 8, and I did not use these cut aparts because I had so many of them. So we're going to put this down, and I kind of did this backwards, but it's going to work out okay. And then I have this 4 3/4 by 5 1/4 cut from the 8 by 8. And I've put a little 1/2 inch flap at the top so that it ends up measuring 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. And this flap is going to go back behind, just like we did on the first one. So there we go. That's cute. And then this flips up. Now, we've got room here to build a little scene if we want to. Let's take this sweet little table, glue it down right here. And let's take our little kitty. Put him right here. And then I'm going to take these stacked teacups, and I'm going to put them just like this. I've got this pink butterfly. It's going to be right there. On my table, I've got some stacked teacups. And a little wee teapot. Let's do this green butterfly. And a yellow butterfly. Let's put our book down here on the floor. The cat's been reading again. Okay, so there's a cute little scene, and that was not hard to do. Here's something cute. Let's take this little wee bird, and I've got some string. Let's make it a little nest. Let's take this little green bird. That's cute, y'all. So now open to your back page, and I've cut, we're gonna make a pocket page. This is 3 1/4 by 5 1/2. This is just a scrap. This is from the 8 by 8. This is going to go right here. I'll trim that edge off before we're done. And then this is 2 7/8 by 6 1/2, and I've scored 1/2 inch flaps on the top, the right hand side, and the bottom. And I'm going to come in with my scissors, and I'm just going to trim out these corners. I cut through the section where the 2 scored lines meet, and that makes a perfect corner. And then fold these, put your adhesive on it. Okay. And oops, this actually has to go over. I forget. Yes, there we go. That flap has to be covered from the green where we attach the green. And then on our pocket flap, we're going to take this cute little teacup houses from the Fussy Cuts and put those here. And choose to be happy. Here. Yeah, right there is good. And then a little butterfly. Like this. Okay, and then we have to make a little folio to go in there, but before we do that, let's go ahead and take care of the right hand side of the page. I'm just going to flick this so this lays a little flatter. And I've cut scraps from that 8 by 8. These are both 5 1/4 inches wide. I'm just going to glue these down. And the direction on one of them is going to go the wrong way, but it's an all over pattern, so it doesn't really matter. You don't have to be as worried about it when you have an all over pattern. And when you glue those together, it just about, the seam just about disappears. All right. So then I took this tall house. I love these houses. And I'm going to put it right here. And I took my hot air balloon, and I'm going to tuck it kind of back behind the house. Because just because we can't add a ton of dimension here doesn't mean we can't create a feeling of depth by layering our elements. And then I've got this cute bicycle. This is Fussy Cut from the Collectibles. Okay. Okay. This little bird. Okay, so that's a fun So for our insert, I cut a 7.5 by 5.5 inch piece of this soft lavender cardstock and scored it in half at 3 3/4. Then I put our hot air balloon image on the front. I lined it with a 3.5 by 5 1/4 inch piece of white paper so you can do some journaling. And then we're just going to take a couple of our little fussy cut pieces from the Collectibles, and I'm going to put this one here like that, this sweet little window. And then this little house is the same little house that's on the cover. And we're going to put it right here. And then we're going to take this little sentiment that says happiness is homemade and put it right up here. Okay. And then a little bird. Actually, let's put the little bird right there. So there we go. That is our insert. And this will fit inside the pocket, barely. You might want to go 5 1/4. So now let's fold this whole shebang bang up. It's a lot of moving parts. But there is the first page that goes in our second signature. So we've got the pocket and tag, we've got the pull out, we've got the flap and the flip. Then this opens up, we've got a pocket, and we've got another page. So that's a lot of goodness right there. All right, so now flip the page. This is your front. Flip to this that has the pocket and the plane. We're going to ignore the pocket. All right, and I want you to cut 2 pieces of lavender cardstock that are 8.5 by 5.5, and then score each of them at 5.5. And these are going to glue down. This is our double tip-in page. And since this is not super bulky, we're going to go ahead and put this in. So obviously the right-hand flap goes on the right-hand page, and the left-hand flap goes on the left-hand page. Okay, perfect. From your 12 by 12, find this page that has the kitten in the window and trim above and below. You're going to have to take off the bottom part of the windowsill, and you're going to trim this to 5 1/4, and it's going to be 5 1/4 by 12. And then you're going to trim that 12-inch piece into 2 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 inch panels, and this is going to glue down inside. So This one goes here. And then the other half of the window goes on the other side. So we do have a little bit of a split, but it's not a big deal. Now, I will tell you this, if you're running low on paper and you have other Stamperia in your stash, look for the lilac and actually the Provence. Both work really well with this collection, so you can improvise if you need to. You're going to have a big border piece left over from cutting this, and you're going to trim this into a 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. You're going to have 2 3/4 by 5 1/4, and these are going to go on the front, these pretty border pieces. Okay, so now it looks like this. Now, you should have 2 large clocks left, and you're just going to put adhesive like this around the outside edge. And then this one is going to go right here. You want the 12 and the 6 to pretty much line up on the outside edge. Okay, and press that down, and once that dries, that'll be a pocket. And then I like to hold this closed so that I get them approximately the same. We're going to do the same thing here. And on the inside, these are not going to be wide enough, but the height is right. These are like 2 3/8. This is what you have left from cutting up that 12 by 12 piece that we've used for this section. And I'm going to put these down. I'm going to go over like this because I may add a little border. I know I have another one somewhere. Here it is. All right. Yeah, I think we can take this and just trim 2 5 1/4 inch pieces out of here and fill in the gaps. So that worked really well. Now this little tag can go in this pocket, and this little tag can go in this pocket. So I found this sweet little bluebird, and we're going to put it right down here. And then this little wren is going to go up here on top of the terracotta pots. Then Home Sweet Home right here. And a little flower right here. Okay. And I'm not going to worry about the wings. We're just going to leave them like they are. I think this is pretty, and that finishes that page.